Welcome to the Jameela Adams Experience podcast. It's the place to be if you're a woman over 40 who wants to feel inspired, empowered, and heard. Jameela Adams, your host, is an entrepreneur and best-selling author who will discuss how to find joy and happiness in life's challenges. So come and join the experience.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining this week's episode. I'm so glad that you're here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you see the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you guys listening to the pod. This has been a journey with its challenges, but of course, it's one that I'm happy to partake in. And I would hope that you feel the same way. I definitely would like to build a community and strive for having more people talk about the subject matter that we've been engaging in for the last year. God, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. But yeah, it has been a year since I started the podcast. And during that time, I've learned so many things about myself and definitely about others. And what I find interesting is that there are times when I just don't give a fuck. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you feel the same way to the point to where you just want to disconnect and say, I'm done, I'm moving on, whatever. But of course, we can't do that because we have responsibilities, our businesses, jobs, families, so on. But there are times when you just don't feel like doing it. And I had to question myself and talk to myself and ask, what is wrong? Why do you feel this way? What is causing it? And I've noticed within the last 2 years, roughly, probably longer, but I've been paying a lot more attention. I just feel detached. I feel sometimes just detached, and my feelings, my emotions can either be, on point, and other times I just don't care and have no feeling. And that's not always good, but it's part of human nature. We all go through this. Dissociation, detachment syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It can be permanent. It can be just something that you go through like a phase. But I find myself trying not to deal with certain things or just feeling overwhelmed and decide, you know what, I need to take a break. I need to relax to find out what exactly is going on. So I have to sit down and figure out what's going on with me. And I'm sure a lot of us do that and find out what is it that is making me feel so disassociated. And I think a lot of it probably stems from things that happened to me when I was a kid, young adult, even an adult now. There's some traumatic incidences where I didn't feel safe, or I just didn't feel connected. And so I just had to just bow out or tune out, whatever you want to call it. So this is a topic that I feel is necessary. It's called How to Tell If You're Dealing with Detachment Issues or Dissociation. And like I said, it's nothing permanent. For some people, it can be. I am no doctor. I only play one on the internet. Just kidding. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm just a woman who's gone through some things and is continually growing and evolving and changing just like everyone else. But learning things about myself by reading books, obviously, and getting closer to my creator, because, I'm sure I've stated this before. I have my spiritual practice where I spend time in devotional prayer and just sitting in meditation so I can make the start of my day filled with intention. So understanding detachment syndrome is more or less, you're just the word detached. You have no connection. You don't feel like being hooked up to anybody or anything. And as stated, it could be the result of dealing with trauma, stress, and other mental health conditions. But why do we feel that way? Is it a form of, I guess you could say, fight, flight, freeze? Is it something to that? I don't really know. But I just understand that I've gone through it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So here's some of the signs you may have. I know I had them, and one, of course, is emotional numbness. Do you feel numb or disconnected from your emotions? Or are you unable, I should say, to experience joy, sadness, or anger? Is it one of those things to where you just have this feeling of just dread or numbness? Another way is that you find that you have difficulty forming connections. You're struggling to build or maintain close relationships. You might feel isolated or unable to bond with others, even to those close to you. I think for me, sometimes I feel like I'm being a burden to someone. Not all the time. I know I did when I was younger. But now it's like I just don't feel like extending myself to anyone. And that's not good. We're supposed to be here. We're dependent on one another. So we do have to talk to one another, connect, bond. But there are times I know I didn't feel like it. Or I didn't allow myself to dig deep into having relationships with others. And it's hard to do that when you have a business like I do, consulting business, to where I need to talk with people. I need to build relationships with people. And it's hard doing that if in the back of my mind is like, do I really want to talk to you? But that's just how the mind works. However, I know that I have to form connections and get out of my comfort zone to do so. I have noticed that there was a time when I had a lack of interest in things, hobbies that used to bring me pleasure. And now it's like, okay, I learned it, I'm done with it, moved on. I taught myself how to crochet, saw a few episodes or tutorials on YouTube, and I learned how to crochet, which was fine because it took my mind off of things. And then I guess during the pandemic, I tried to do it more. I just didn't feel like it. So I didn't. So a couple months ago, I decided to donate all my crafting, um, my crochet needles, my yarn, things of that nature, because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It didn't bring me joy. And that's okay. So I do recall there are times when I love to roller skate. I mean, I've talked about that in a previous episode about me learning how to roller skate. And I was asked about that. My neighbors, they enjoyed watching me skate out in the cul-de-sac. So I think I'm going to start taking that up again. So I have to give myself grace and start over. The other thing I've noticed is memory gaps. And sometimes it's related to stress. Sometimes it's just, I don't want to think about what happened to me. So I put it out of my mind. And it does come up when something triggers me. I know how to handle the trigger though, but I notice that there are times when I don't want to remember something because the negative connotation that went with it. So the way I always see it, if you're involved with someone or attached to someone and you're no longer involved with that person anymore, I purge everything, the good, the bad, everything in between. So that way I won't be reminded of the feeling I had when things went sour. It happens like on a job. I force things out of my head to keep from remember the bad things even the good things, when something just wasn't right and it just soured. Another issue is feeling unreal. Have you felt like you've ever been detached? Like everything you think of or see, it's like you're in a movie and you're watching yourself as everything played out. I've been very fortunate. I have never had that. Well, I can't say I've never had that feeling. What I'm saying is that I don't feel detached in that way. I am involved with what's going on around me, my home, my friends, my family. So I never really thought I was disconnected that way. But I have started to hone in on my feelings and emotions. I still have, I guess you can say, I can still express emotion. And I have been able to do that. That hasn't changed. I still emote. But I try not to overdo it. I don't like to be emotional in front of others. I guess because I've always been taught don't cry in front of others. Don't give people a reason to make you think that. Don't give people a reason to think that you're weak. So I try not to cry in front of others, which is impossible because I am an emotional person. I try not to snap, go off, but I have no poker face. And my husband cracks up because I will look at him and I will say something and it could be sarcastic or jokingly, but I can't say it to him in a straight face. So emoting, that's not a problem. But I do try to avoid emotional situations. I've done that because I don't like to feel stressed or I know all of us have in some instance. Just try not to evoke strong emotion because we have to be strong. We have to be that pillar for others. And that's hard. It really is because you really are cutting off a piece of you in order to get this, whatever it is, feeling out. I can honestly say I had to detach myself from past traumas and whatnot. So, like I said, I don't like to bring them up. But there are times when they do spring up and I have to address them accordingly. Another thing about feeling detached is sometimes you feel overwhelmed by the most routine task. Is everything over your head? Is it insurmountable? And you pause or just stop, become paralyzed. And I've learned not to do that anymore because things still have to get done no matter what. You just got to keep moving forward, especially as a business owner, because everything falls on me. And I'm pretty sure if you are a business owner, solopreneur, you know the same thing. I mean, even those who work in a 9-to-5 environment, if you have a task that's been handed to you, a project that you have to manage, you can't just throw your hands up. I mean, it feels like, you want to, but you can't. I know early on in my career, I did feel, I guess, bouts of anxiety because I just felt so overwhelmed, just giving all these projects and not given enough time to do it, or, people are looking at you like you have the skills, do it. But that's hard. And then your body takes a beating physically, mentally. I had bouts of anxiety. My nose would bleed. I would get migraines. And I just had to step back and say, you know what, my health is way more important than this job. So, do you recognize any of these signs in yourself? Do you find yourself becoming detached, disassociating yourself from certain feelings, certain things, even certain people or environments? It's time in that instance to either get a life coach, health coach, or even speak to someone in the mental health profession to deal with the underlying causes of why you feel this way. and work on it. I know for me, I've been blessed and fortunate to have a good network of friends and family that I trust and can talk to about this. A lot of it, I read several books about how to do better at managing my time, my feelings, and it's helped a lot. Of course, being in my devotional state has helped as well, because this life that we know isn't forever. We have to make the best of it no matter what. So I encourage you, don't feel stuck. Seek the help out there, because there's many people out there that you can talk to, and you're not alone. I just feel that I bring up these topics is because I know I'm not the only one dealing with this. I know I'm not the only one who's have these ideas, these thoughts, these behaviors. So I put it out there so that way you have a place to talk to. I mean, talk about it, I should say, not talk to, but you have an idea of how to handle it. So with that being said, I just want you to challenge yourself in taking care of yourself. Understand why you feel so detached. Why do you feel alone? Why do you feel overwhelmed? And talk to someone about it. I know there are times when you can't, because you have a household to run, or you have a business to take care of, or you've got clients who need your attention. But you can't do that if you can't take care of yourself. So I challenge you to do that. Look at what's causing you to feel detached and work around it, or work through it, I should say. So with that being said, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, I want you to be you, and I'll chat with you next week. Take care.
Do you have a passion project you want to bring to life? Let Jameela Adams at your service help you. Jameela Adams at your service was created to assist businesswomen, 40 plus, by bringing their passion project to life through website design and marketing. Visit JameelaAdamsAtYourService.com and sign up for a consultation today. Remember, you have a voice, use it.